All right, so let's just go back to that story. As I said, I'm really looking forward to the conversation with some of the learners just to get an understanding as to how they've been coping during this lockdown and with some online learning as well. Let me just welcome now via Skype my two guests who are joining me this afternoon. All right, so firstly, we have Innocentia Mmatjawela, and we also have Siphesihle Radebe. As I said, they join me now live via Skype. Guys, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining me here on the SABC News channel.
Good afternoon, Auspalisa. I thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Siphesihle. Good afternoon, Ino.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much indeed, guys, for coming through. So, firstly, let's just get your understanding on this COVID-19 coronavirus. What do you guys know about this virus?
Coronavirus is a disease transmitting between humans, which is spread by air droplets when one speaks, coughs, or sneezes.
All right. So, how have you been keeping safe? And what's your observation where you're staying now? Are people really adhering to the regulations as set out by the president? Innocentia, can you hear me?
No.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. It looks like we're having some trouble to connect to Ino. All right. So I'll continue the discussion with you. Your observations, really, where you're staying now, are people really adhering to the regulations that have been set out by President Cyril Ramaphosa to stay at home and only go out when it really is necessary to do so?
Yes, so far my community has been following what the president has said, and they are staying at home with no troubles.
All right. So have you been involved in any online learning since the lockdown started? What has happened? Talk to us about your journey since this lockdown came into place.
Fortunately, I have been involved in online learning with my educators involved and my other learners involved. But I have a little bit of a problem whereby there are other learners who cannot be able to communicate with other teachers or being in other online learning institutions because they don't have internet access, or some of them don't probably even have cell phones.
All right. So your take is that some of your classmates and fellow learners have been disadvantaged by this online learning, as they've not been able to be part of the discussions and the learning that's been taking place. That is what you're saying?
Yes.
With you, have you been part of this online learning?
No, I haven't been part of this online learning because at our school we don't even have teachers who provided group chats so that they can give us work and explanations. But then thanks to my friends, they give me work that their teachers have been giving them, so I'm going forward.
Yeah, because I wanted to ask as to what you've been doing, Innocentia, since this lockdown. As you say that you're not part of this online learning, how have things been for you to study on your own and do schoolwork on your own without any supervision from your teachers?
Well, I wouldn't say it was nice. It is very disturbing because I really need a teacher to illustrate some things. So it was very hard. It is very hard.
All right. But guys, do you miss school? Do you feel like
we do miss school.
Do you feel like you've been at home for forever now?
Yeah.
It feels like that.
So what do you get up to every day?
What I normally do is, I wake up and do everything, essential things. And then I get to my study groups, and what I do, I get to help with house chores. And when I have nothing to do, I just take a nap almost the whole day.
So, Siphesihle, as you said that you've been part of this online learning, do you find it convenient, or Do you prefer your classroom kind of setup than this online learning?
I wouldn't recommend it. I honestly prefer my classroom because some things need interpreting from the teacher, unlike reading text and not being able to learn enough.
Mm-hmm. So when you guys go online for your classes, how long does it usually last?
It usually lasts 1 hour, 30 minutes.
Mm. So are you able to do all the subjects in 1 hour, 30 minutes?
Not all the subjects, honestly. I haven't been involved in a lot of subjects, just a few subjects that my teachers managed to help me with. Other subjects, I just use websites, but I feel they don't teach enough.
Mm. And I suppose, Innocentia, that's where the difficulties are, to sort of having to do everything on your own. I mean, if you're used to being led in a classroom and you now have to adjust to doing things on your own, it becomes quite a challenge, doesn't it?
Yeah, it becomes a challenge because obviously I'm used to being taught by a teacher, being in spaces whereby I have my friends, we have study groups and all of that. Right now I'm studying alone. I don't have like a peer who's with me right now and studying with me.
Mm. But are you personally worried that there might be some academic time lost due to this coronavirus pandemic and the lockdown? Are you worried that you might not be able to sort of catch up with your schoolwork? It's already what? It's already the 5th month of the year now?
Yes, I'm very worried because well, term 2 is one of the most important terms in the year. So right now we're not having access in these studying things because like obviously we don't have group chats or whatsoever. So I'm very worried about the 2020 academic year.
Mm. All right, so just in conclusion, Siphesihle, you say that you're not quite comfortable with this online learning, and we know that the 4th Industrial Revolution is literally on our doorstep. So you might have to get used to learning online. What do you think about that?
Well, I'll have to adjust because by then I'll be used to it. But for a 14-year-old like me, I'm not used to it. I mean, I've always told myself that, okay, when I start getting to about grade 12 to tertiary, that's where I'll be using online learning. I never thought I could use online learning at this age.
All right, guys, I'm afraid we don't have any more time. I would have wanted to speak to you more, but thank you so much for coming through. Do listen to the Minister of Basic Education tomorrow morning at 10, as she will be making announcements as to whether you guys will be returning to school anytime soon. Thank you so much for coming through, and all the best going forward.
It's a pleasure.